is Agile Innovation in the Post-COVID World, a case study. And the speaker for the same is Shrikant Shastri, who is the chairman of I3G Advisory Network. Shrikant typically helps the CEOs as a hands-on orchestrator of rapid growth that helps them overcome the two biggest barriers, slow speed and people working in silos, and leads to unified action within the company. With that said, let's hear from Shrikant, his talk for today.
Thank you, Smita. Let me load up my slide deck. Deck is visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's a good thing to pick up from one of the things that Dr. Kumar Mehta said towards the end in response to Raman's questions. He said, great things don't happen on spreadsheets. They happen when you take problems and you solve them. So what I'd like to talk to you in the next 20 minutes is something that solved a problem and did not happen on a spreadsheet, and agile innovation that I had the privilege of being part of. But let me start with a slightly different kind of innovation, which is, I'd like to say hello to all of you in as many languages as possible. We live in a world which is uncertain and full of stress. I think this is the perfect time for us to put our arms around each other and say we are in it together. What better way to do that than to say Jule in Ladakhi, Kurumjari in Manipuri, Vanakkam in Tamil, Namaste, Namaskara in hello in as many languages as possible. To me, that's the small innovation I'd like to start with. I'd ideally have to like to do an audience poll, but in the interest of time, I'm going to skip that. But I'm going to share with you the findings of the poll I've been doing repeatedly with audiences of corporates, startups, students across India and sometimes outside India as well. And one of the big conclusions I've reached is that we live in a tripolar world. Now, what does that mean? Let me try and explain. The poll that I've been running since October last year, every time I have a group of people, is to say, did your business change for the better or for the worse during COVID? And how badly did COVID affect you? And I actually get three kinds of responses in almost equal measure. The first bucket is that we've gotten hit very, very badly, and it will take us a while to come back to where we were in the pre-COVID era. The second bucket is, yes, we got hit badly, but we recovered quickly, and we're now back on track. The third bucket is the most interesting one, and that's where innovation has a role to play. That group of organizations in every sector said, you know what? COVID was a challenge, unforeseen challenge, but it also brought forth opportunities that would otherwise not have arisen. And it has taken us to a completely new trajectory. And that's the third bucket. So you literally have three kinds of people in this world. And that's why I'm asking a question, is it a tripolar world with three different belief systems? On a lighter note, when I asked this question to one of the CEOs, a lot of these questions were over email and WhatsApp about how has your business been affected. This guy said, hold on, I will not answer your question. Let me send you a screenshot for what my share price looks like. And this was in October last year. So he sent me a screenshot which said October 2019 to February 2020, you see a flat or a drop, and the drop continues till March. But from March 2020 onwards, it's a steep rise. No surprises here. It's an alcoholic beverages company. The lockdown and pandemic was good for them. And this company clearly happened to be in the right place at the right time. He did not really need to innovate, but that was an exception. With that, let's talk about the case study. I had the good fortune for being involved in three fascinating projects in 2020 in three diverse sectors: medical devices, education technology, and FMCG. I'm not going to talk about the last two. The focus today is on medical devices, where I got involved in a project for a new product in a completely new category. So how did the story begin? It started on day 2 of lockdown 1.0 in India. This was in late March. I was getting all set for a nice, comfortable weekend when I get a phone call from this gentleman who's a professor of biosciences at IIT Kanpur. He calls me and says, you know what? This professor also runs the startup incubator at IIT Kanpur. He called and said that I have an interesting situation. Can you help? There are these two young guys who are engineers from IIT Kanpur 2017 vintage who were running a robotics startup. They were making robots that could clean solar panels of large solar farms in a waterless manner. He's saying they're in trouble because the factory shut down, supply chain is shut down, the customers don't want to buy any products, and they don't have any cash. But these guys have come forward and said, we'd like to build an ICU ventilator to help India fight COVID. He's saying, I'm not able to decide whether to take them seriously or not. Can you meet them? So I said, sure. So I first got into a WhatsApp conversation with these two guys. And you can see a snapshot of the WhatsApp conversation. They sent me a short video and said, this is the invasive ventilator needed for corona patients. This is just a prototype we made today. We need to make some changes, and that can be done in 5 to 6 days. It's portable, it can run on battery. We developed this yesterday, and we can make this work for sure. So I was obviously intrigued. And here's what had happened. This is the 3D design they sent me. And I'm a failed engineer from 4 decades ago. So I had to go back and brush up my engineering. So I figured out there's a pump, there are sensors, there are valves and all kinds of things. But what was fascinated was when I looked at the video, and I'm just going to, this takes no more than 15 seconds. So this is the first prototype. You can see this pumping artificial lung. So I'm going to stop the video here. So fundamentally, what had happened was in the previous 48 hours, no more than 48 hours, they had built this prototype under conditions of lockdown sitting in Pune. Remember, Maharashtra went into a lockdown before rest of India. Everything was shut. So what did they do? They got a hobby store Pune, a store owner in Pune to open up his store. They figured out that that guy has sensors, pressure sensors, because sensors are used by drone manufacturers. So they got him to give the sensors. They needed a pump. So they used an aquarium pump to begin with. And they did this to put together the first prototype in 48 hours because a global panel of expert doctors wanted to see whether an invasive ICU ventilator could be built in India or not. And so the group of doctors sitting out of California looked at this product and said, this team has what it takes to build, put faith behind them, go for it. And that's when the journey began. And what I did immediately along with the professor was to create a WhatsApp group called India Overcomes COVID. And the very next day, we put together a task force of 20 people, which then over the next 90 days nonstop got on to a 12 noon Zoom call. So 2 hours every day. The Zoom call would be followed by many email, phone, and WhatsApp exchanges. People literally work around the clock. And at the end of 90 days, we had a ventilator which had been clinically validated by top hospitals in the country. The lady you see here is Dr. Prachi Sathe, head of the ICU in Ruby Hospital, Pune, after which the government's Director General of Health Services approved it, Medanta approved it, Artemis approved it, and within 90 days, you actually had manufacturing facility and manufactured products ready. So remember, this was a 90-day period when everything was shut, the world was shut. About 60% of the components had to be imported. So there was innovation in the supply chain. You had to figure out what can you get from where. The design had to be innovated. What design could you make that could not only save lives in an ICU, but could make do with components that are available at this point of time. How can you set up a production line up and running when there are restrictions? How can you get the product clinically validated? All that got done in 90 days. For all of us, it was a gratifying experience to be part of this. And for us, this became an agile and accelerated innovation model for the post-COVID world. And why do I say that? Because MNC manufacturers setting out of US or Europe take 18 to 24 months to make a similar product. This product was made in 90 days and is a comparable to those world-class products. And that is what this is: innovation with no corners cut, no compromises, but yet done in an agile and accelerated manner. And we believe this is the template for innovation in the post-COVID world. And I'm going to leave three principles here, which from our experience are worth keeping in mind. The first one is what I call as a higher purpose and setting super ambitious goals. In this case, the higher purpose was the nation needs it to fight COVID. And we set a super ambitious goal. We need to do it in 90 days, not 18 months. Now, a little while ago, when Dr. Kumar was speaking, he spoke about the importance of self-belief, how athletes at the starting line need to have a self-belief because the race is won even before you start from the start line. And that was the case here also. When we set up the task force on March 29th last year, the higher purpose propelled us. The super ambitious goals, we said we can do it, and that's what we set out to do. The second one was execution. All of us know that India works best in mission mode. We don't know how to manage our traffic. We don't know how to maintain our roads. We don't know how to manage our pollution. But we can run a successful space mission. And I know Kumbh is not the right thing to talk about now, but we manage mega projects like Kumbh every year. The government does it, the same government that cannot manage roads and traffic. So we knew that India works best in a mission mode. So what was important for us was to replicate that translated for us in an agile manner. And for us, one of the inspirations is the movie Chak De India, where Shah Rukh Khan as the coach innovated and iterated from match to match. Every match he figured out, what do I need to innovate with and iterate to be able to move to the next round? And we did exactly the same thing. Our daily 12 noon Zoom call was about taking stock of what did we do well in the previous 24 hours, what troubles do we need to fix, what do we need to get accomplished in the next 24 hours, and who needs to do what. So we were agile. We iterated every 24 hours and moved forward. The third one was the work environment. Dr. Kumar spoke about supportive environment. In our case, we had 20 people, including a Padma Shri and a Padma Bhushan, who are 69 and 74 years of age. The youngest in the task force is 23 years of age, but there was no hierarchy. We had constructive teamwork, and you could see debates, intense debates between a 23-year-old and a 74-year-old, neither willing to yield an inch, but respecting the other person. For me, if I pick up a cricket analogy, we had an environment of the kind that Gary Kirsten and John Wright brought to the Indian cricket team, not a Greg Chappell kind of destructive environment. So we had a non-hierarchical, constructive environment for teamwork. So if I had to summarize the operating principles from this case study that can be applied to all businesses, whether for-profit, not-for-profit, startups or large enterprises, three things: higher purpose and super ambitious goals. Now, a lot of people ask us, during COVID, the higher purpose was easy to fight the pandemic. What about normal times? We believe that it's possible even in peacetime to energize the team by setting a purpose which is higher, more than about making money, more than about valuation. And in the previous session, Raman and Kumar had an interesting discussion about that. If you set a higher purpose, the team gets charged up, are willing to tackle super ambitious goals. The second, and I believe this is what COVID, the post-pandemic world, allows us to do. You can put together a task force to solve any problem now. Location is no longer an issue. You can call in an expert from Silicon Valley or London or Europe because you're not expecting them to fly down. Everyone works virtually now. So location is not a bar. You can pull in the best experts to solve problems very, very quickly. and it in a non-hierarchical collaborative manner. That's the second operating principle. The third is to work in a mission mode. You can set a super ambitious goal, but it's going to be of no use if you don't have executional rigor and you don't iterate in an agile way. In our case, it was 24-hour agile execution. Post the pandemic, I and my co-author have project lead have tried to replicate this in many startups across the country. We now follow a weekly iterative cycle to kind of ensure that this executional rigor comes into play. So 3 execution operating principles. The big learning from this case study is that time, location, and expertise are no longer a constraint for businesses in India. We are no longer at a disadvantage for a startup in Silicon Valley, because in the past, Silicon Valley had a competitive advantage. There were people sitting next to each other, investors, academicians, startups, mentors. Today, we can pull in that same set of skill sets globally, but virtually. And therefore, bold, accelerated growth is no longer a dream. To us, what this signified was there's hope beyond COVID. And this could actually be India's chance to create history with a completely new agile model for innovation that transforms us, transforms the world. So I and my co-author had the good fortune. We said, before we forget these principles, let's capture this journey, capture these principles in the form of a book, which has now been in the market. It's called The Ventilator Project. Finally, in the same spirit of innovative welcome, I'd like to thank you by saying, Dhanyavad, Dhanyabad, Nandri, thank you very much, and best of luck. So I'm going to stop my screen share with that. And thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here today.
Thank you so much, Srikanth, for sharing your view on your tripolar perspective on the state of businesses in the post-COVID era, and a diligent case study on how to approach innovation in a more agile way. So, and I have to admit, we just witnessed some great storytelling there. So thank you again, Srikanth.
Thank you.